Big Bad Mafia Boss. That's what you guys have been calling him. And you know what? Every other YouTuber out there who has made videos about him has been hyping him up to be one of the best sync pairs out there. Meanwhile, me, personally, in my past few videos, I did say that he is bad. Not really that bad, but he's not as good as what people say. But you know what? We're gonna analyze him in this video and see if my negative thoughts about him will change for the better. So with that said, hit the thumbs up, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe if you haven't. And I think there's a new button down below, you can check it out. With that said, enjoy watching. Let's do this. Yo, this is Solo, also known as Spielgum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt. The artist team's called Grunt. And this is Pokemon Masters EX. In this video, we're going to be discussing about SYGNA Giovanni and Nidoking. One of the second Poke Fair that's gonna come out in this update. So, he actually comes out on May 19. And ends on June 15. He's the last sync pair in this DATAMINE. And he's gonna end on the same day as SYGNA MORTY, which is June 15. Now, in my last few videos, I've been saying that although he's strong, he's quite slow. His moves and stuff are slow. And again, as I said in my intro, I wanna look a little bit more in-depth, compare him with other sync pairs and so on and so forth to see if my opinion about him will change or not. But for the rest, you know, we have proven how good SYGNA MORTY is right now, and I have made a video that it is possible to get at least one sure copy of either Aaron, Bertha, or Lucian with just 7,500 paid gems. So if you want one surefire copy of a sync pair, you know, don't want to get shafted and so on and so forth, you can probably go for the Spotlight Scouts, surprisingly, recommending Spotlight Scouts here, but might want to go, you have to spend paid gems to get one sure copy. But then, Poke Fair, Spotlight. Poke Fair is a limited unit. Spotlight is going to be a permanent unit as soon as their banners end. So, might want to take that into consideration as well. I mean, if you're not in a rush to get either Aaron, Bertha, or Lucian, you can just wait. And, you know, whatever banner that comes out after May 26 is probably gonna, you know, there's probably gonna be a Master Fair by the end of May or the start of June, because that was when Maxi and Archie came out last year. So take note of the possibilities, have your gems save up for a potential Master Fair, but who knows? DNA has been trolling us here and there, randomly changing up the dates for the DATAMINE, releasing an announcement letter, deleting the announcement after just a few minutes, and so on and so forth. DNA has been trolling us for quite a while now, and you might expect some random stuff from them. But yeah, guys, in this video, we're just going to discuss SYGNA Giovanni. If you want to have an in-depth look at the others, you can check out my May Sync Pairs Who to Scout For video, where I discuss each one of them briefly. I'm gonna make individual analysis videos for each one as well. And I'm done with SYGNA MORTY with his Scout or Skip video. The others are going to come out a few days more. Just wait for it. But let's get looking right now at SYGNA Giovanni with his Mindscape image. If you see the screen, congratulate yourselves. You have successfully scouted for SYGNA Giovanni. You shall face Giovanni, the greatest trainer Now, if I'm not mistaken, he has a theme skill, Johto. So, he's considered as a Johto sync pair and not a Kanto sync pair. And this is what you want to consider as well. If you are not, if you want to have an easy time with the Extreme Battle event that's coming, that's Ethan's Epic Effort coming out, I think, if I'm not mistaken, comes out on May 20 or somewhere in there. If you want to have an easy time, you need him. Either him, or SYGNA Morty and him, or SYGNA Morty, you need him to have an easy time, because there are not a lot of good Johto sync pairs. So keep that in mind. That's 600 gems if you're successful on both stages of the Extreme Battle event. If you do not have him, you might have a hard time. So that's that. So let's move on. He has 3 different attacks. First is Mega Kick, second is Iron Tail, third is Poison Jab. Now, Mega Kick is normally a normal type attack, but he has a passive skill called Giovanni's Cunning, which is technically Ground Shift plus Piercing Gaze. So, Mega Kick just becomes a fighting type attack, and then your moves will never miss. The moves never miss thing, I think, applies for all his moves, not just Mega Kick, but also Iron Tail and also Poison Jab. So if the opponent is quite evasive, this will help you because your moves will never miss. Number 2 is he has Iron Tail, which has a 30% chance of lowering the opponent's defense. And number 3 is Poison Jab, which has a 30% chance of poisoning the opponent. Now, in terms of poison type DPS, we do not exactly have a lot of poison types or rather poison type attacks. The last poison type attack I think that we got that's quite powerful is Alistair with his, I forgot what move it is, poison something, totally forgot. Anyway, he's the last poison type attacker that we have, but he is ghost type. It's been a while. We only have Plumeria as a 6-star EXable poison type until now. So I probably, I was hoping that SYGNA Giovanni would actually be a poison type, but they made him a ground type, which not exactly complaining, I guess, because every single ground type that we have that can be 6-star EX is actually a limited unit. Ingo, Cynthia, Maxi, who else? Leon, partially a ground type. SYGNA Serena, partially a ground type. So every single ground type, good ground type user we have is actually a limited unit. So SYGNA Giovanni joins them in terms of the limited unit things. But yeah, the thing about SYGNA Giovanni compared to the other ground types that we have is that Mega Kick only hits one opponent. Meanwhile, SYGNA Serena, 1000 Waves, hits everyone. Cynthia, Earthquake, hits everyone. Maxi, Precipice Blades, hits everyone. Leon, Earthquakes, hits everyone. SYGNA Giovanni, Mega Kick, hits one opponent. Iron Tail hits one opponent. Poison Jab hits one opponent. And the thing here also is, all of those 3 moves are 4 move gauge attacks. His speed stat is at 295, which is not exactly very high. But his World of Pain trainer move can maximize his attack stat instantly and gives yourself a critical hit next effect. Also gives you a super duper or super effective up next effect so that your next attack will be guaranteed a critical hit as well as double in damage or 1.5 times damage or whatever the calculation is if the opponent is weak to that attack type. So that's basically what his basic kit is. Now, he is a Dynamax Sync pair, and Dynamax Sync pairs have max moves which you can use once per battle. Max Quake, is a ground type max move which raises everyone's special defense +2. Max Steel Spike is Steel type, which raises everyone's defense +2. And Max Ooze is Poison type physical max move, which raises everyone's special attack stat +2. So the way you want to use him, probably, at least for me, is World of Pain, his trainer move, and then his max move. Why do you want to do that? Because of his passive skill called Max Double Down 5. So this basically powers up your max move damage by 50% more or less if the opponent is weak to that max move. So you get a powered up max move that is a critical hit that has a super effective up next. So you get a lot of multipliers with that max move. That max move is gonna be so powerful. And yeah, that's basically how I would use him. So World of Pain, then max move, then so on and so forth. And then he also has the passive skill called Hit the Gas, which basically every single one of his attacks are normally 3 move gauge attacks, but because of Hit the Gas, they become 4 move gauge attacks. And for Sync Pair like this, bring in or give him Critical Strike 2, or if you want to, you can give him Super Powered 3 to power up his attacks even more if the opponent is weak to either Ground type, Poison type, or Steel type, and you use those attacks against them. So, first opinion right now. So, as I was saying, I had my reservations about SYGNA Giovanni, and that is because all his moves are 4 move gauge attacks. Now, you guys did say, yes, he has move gauge refresh in his grid. In fact, I did not include that here because until they get move gauge refresh 9, I do not exactly want to put them. In fact, I checked, his moves have move gauge refresh 3. So you got a move gauge refresh 3 on his Mega Kick, you got a move gauge refresh 3 on his Iron Tail, you got a move gauge refresh 3 on his Poison Jab. And what does move gauge refresh 3 do? It's a 40% chance of bringing back that move gauge. Now, there is a, move gauge issues here and there. SYGNA Serena, if you want a comparison, if I check SYGNA Serena's grid right now, she does have 2 move gauge refreshes. So let me go to SYGNA Serena in my game, and let me show you what she has. SYGNA Serena has 2 move gauge refreshes on both his attacks. For example, Core Enforcer, you got move gauge refresh 2, as well as a move gauge refresh 4, which in total gives you a total of an 80% chance of bringing back at least one move gauge, or two move gauges if they trigger at the same time. So 50% chance for one, 30% chance for the other. Meanwhile, SYGNA Giovanni only has a total 40% chance of bringing back one move gauge. His speed stat is not high. He cannot bring in a move gauge acceleration. The only thing you have here is a Sands of Time, a 2 out of 5, which brings or speeds up the move gauge when there's a sandstorm. And that sandstorm is gonna speed up your move gauge a little bit so that you can use moves quicker. You got Surging Sand 2, which powers up your attacks if there's a sandstorm. And you got a lot of multipliers, especially more for Poison Jab. You got Super Duper Effective 3 for Poison Jab, as well as a Furious Brawn for Poison Jab. The higher your attack stat is, the stronger your Poison Jab is gonna be. Poison Jab's overall power damage is not that high, so getting these multipliers just power them up. Meanwhile, Mega Kick and Iron Tail has a higher base power, so they do not have those extra multipliers out there. But you can also have, Super Duper Effective 2, Surging Sand. You can have the Super Effective Up Next effect built into his passive or built into his trainer move, or get an extra by having max super preparation, which gives you a super effective up next after using a max move, or super sinker, get the super effective up next after you use a sync move for the very first time. He also has extra multipliers for his for his sync move, which is double down 3 if the opponent is weak to ground type. His sync move is gonna be 30% more powerful, and then there's Haymaker. The higher the attack stat of Giovanni is, the stronger the sync move damage, which you're gonna be able to max out the Haymaker multiplier instantly because your World of Pain just maximizes your attack stat. Now, if you want to bring back that super effective up next, or a critical hit next, you know, World of Pain MP Refresh 2 is available at 1 out of 5. I think that's very good, having the best of him available early on. And you know, World of Pain, he only has 1 MP, 1 trainer move. He's not like other sync pairs who can have 2 trainer moves, 2 MP, or something like that. So my issue with him, again, is that you only have 1 MP for World of Pain. That's the basic, the only thing, the only stalling thing you can use on SYGNA Giovanni. And after that, after using World of Pain, the only thing you can do with SYGNA Giovanni without the MP refresh is attack. And if your move gauge is not full, you have to wait and wait and wait for the move gauge to fill up. If your other sync pairs need the move gauge, use a move or something, you know, SYGNA Giovanni cannot do anything. Meanwhile, your opponent in Champion Stadium just keeps attacking you. Your move gauge, your sync move countdown does not go down because you've been waiting. And that's my biggest issue about SYGNA Giovanni. Move gauge management. He's slow. His attacks are all 4 move gauges. He does not have a 3 move gauge attack. He does not have a 2 move gauge attack. This is unlike, you know, again, SYGNA Serena, who has move gauge refresh. Basically, move gauge refresh 4 plus 2, was it? Anyway, that's an 80% chance. Or probably SYGNA LUCIAN was Prismatic Laser, 4 move gauge attack, as well as Mirror Shot, was it Mirror Shot? 2 move gauge attack. So that when your move gauge does not fill up, you can use the 2 move gauge attack to, you know, eat up the move gauge. So he has the same problem as Emmet, the normal Emmet, because normal Emmet only has like Rock Slide, and what's the other one? I forgot the other move. Let me just check it. I forgot. I forgot what it's called. Sus. Where is Emmet? It is called Stone Edge. Sus. So, but you know, Emmet, the normal Emmet, has at least Dire Hit Plus, which you can use twice, and Right on Track you can only use once. At least you have a 3 MP, which helps with the move gauge management at the start of the battle. As you might know, max moves do not bring the sync move countdown down. But I guess you can use the max move to somehow do something while you cannot do anything. And then, you know, probably a good combination for him would be Ingo, which gives everyone free move next. In fact, I think he pairs up very well with Ingo, because Ingo brings in Sandstorm, and you know, this guy has Sandstorm multipliers. You need that free move next so that you can move quicker with this guy. But aside from that, as long as you're able to handle the move gauge issue, he's gonna be very, very powerful. Also got a lot of other things, and one thing, or the most important thing that I want to discuss about him, is Critical Crit 9, available at 3 out of 5. This basically means every single time you land a critical hit on the opponent, your next attack is gonna be a critical hit. And you land another critical hit, the next attack is going to be a critical hit, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. That means you will never ever land a non-critical hit on the opponent as long as they do not have critical shield, which is awesome. But if you have a critical, if the opponent gets a critical shield, you know, you're in trouble. But as long as you have critical crit 9, you know, you have a sync pair probably in the background that raises your critical hit rate. The moment critical shield goes away, and you know, if you have critical hit rate plus 3, your critical hit chance is 100% for normal attacks. Critical crit 9 will come back and guarantee that your next attack is going to be a critical hit. But then, if you do not have a sync pair that can give you an increased critical hit rate, take note that as soon as critical shield comes out and you're not able to land a critical hit, SYGNA Giovanni will most likely never be able to land a critical hit on the opponent ever in that entire battle. Keep that in mind. Rejuvenate 6 might be helpful. Fills up your move gauge after you use a sync move. But yeah, other than that, again, he's very, very strong, very powerful. I mean, attack stat is not exactly that high, but you'll see later once we compare him with the other sync pairs. Now again, you cannot get everything here in this grid. And I did check the sync grid tools, they're not yet available sadly. So I cannot show what sample grids I have for him. But then, let's just move on. Again, he's the last out of the bunch. May 19 until June 15. That's less than 1 month. But again, keep in mind that there might be other sync pairs that might be coming after SYGNA Giovanni. Might be a Master Fair, might not be a Master Fair. Who knows? SYGNA MORTY, proven to be good. Aaron, Bertha, Lucian, as long as you're able or willing to spend paid gems, you can get one sure copy within 7,500 paid gems. Alright, let's go to the in-depth analysis, which I've shown this in my Who to Scout For video already. SYGNA MORTY has the highest defense, then goes lower. SYGNA Giovanni is the only striker here. His defense is 133, special defense is 133. He only uses physical attacks, much like the others, except for Lucian, who only uses special attacks. And in terms of speed, he's below, he's at 295, which is actually the second highest in this group of sync pairs. But then overall, for a sync pair that uses a 4 move gauge attacks, it's not exactly that fast. He has the highest attack stat, but later on, if we compare her or him with the other sync pairs, well, you'll see. Alright, these are the multipliers that they have. SYGNA Giovanni has the most multipliers, and I've showcased or I've shown this before already, so I'm gonna move on right now. Pause if you need to pause at any time. Alright, now, as a ground type sync pair, you know, there are not a lot of ground type sync pairs. And so I compare him with I think are the best ground types. You know, we got 3 ground type strikers. We got Maxi, we got Cynthia, and then we got 2 more sync pairs that can use ground type attacks. Which is SYGNA Serena and Leon. So, by the way, these are the numbers. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Bernard. Thank you, STDK12. Here, SYGNA Giovanni, SYGNA Serena. SYGNA Giovanni has the lowest attack stat out of all the ground type users, known ground type users. SYGNA Serena has 508, you know, attack after, you know, transforming to complete form. Special attack, SYGNA Serena also the highest. SYGNA Suit Serena also has the highest speed. SYGNA Suit Giovanni has the lowest speed stat. A little bit lower than Maxi, but then Maxi has a 2-move gauge Solar Beam. SYGNA Suit Serena, you get what I mean, guys. SYGNA Suit Serena has 4-move gauge attacks, but then her speed stat is high. SYGNA Suit Giovanni, every single attack is a 4-move gauge attack. His speed stat is quite low. That's my issue. That's my biggest issue about him. And then, yeah, you know, his defense stats are not exactly the lowest. The lowest belongs to Maxi, but then they're pretty low at 133. Make him 6-star EX to have a higher, you know, defense stats. And in terms of HP, pretty average and stuff. So those are the stats. But you know, stats aren't everything. And now this is the part that probably will interest you the most. Let's go to the multipliers. Now, I grayed out both Leon and Cynthia's, or SYGNA Suit Serena rather, Sing Move multipliers because they are not exactly ground type users. So, SYGNA Suit Giovanni has hit the gas 5, max double down 5. I'm not gonna talk about the max move damage here. I'm just gonna focus on DPS. But you know, they have max moves and max moves are powerful. We'll not discuss them anymore here. Super duper effective 2, Surging Sand 2, super effective up next. Meanwhile, Cynthia relies a lot on Sandstorm as well. Surging Sand 5, Surging Sand 3, Critical Strike 3 for slash, ramming speed, the higher the speed stat is. Leon relies on burning the opponent, so you have to use Inferno before attacking using Earthquake to have a higher damage because of Burn Synergy 3. Plus Leon is you know, is a Master Fair, so he has Galar Flag Bearer, which should be colored blue, but just ignore that. And then his trainer move, you know, you can just use his trainer move to give you a free move next effect, as well as a super effective up next, which is probably the best thing about Leon. But every single time you use his trainer move, you get to lower your defenses. And then it takes a while to set up Leon using his trainer move, but that aside, you're good. Maxi, on the other hand, relies on Sun. And the moment Sun goes down, you get to experience a little bit of problem because he kind of slows down. Forgot if it's part of his grid or not. I don't think so, but he gets a little bit weaker the moment Sun goes down. But when Sun is up there, you got Solar Surge 3, you get super effective up next quite often if you have Super Sun. You get super duper effective 1 at 3 out of 5 if you want to, and I just included the Precipice Blades multipliers and just ignored the whatchamacallit, the Solar Beam multipliers over here. SYGNA Suit Serena relies on using 1,000 waves first. So you got Hold Hostage 1 if the opponent is restrained. You got Callous Flag Bearer passive skill. You got a physical moves up next and special moves up next effect, which I think triggers at the start of the battle or after using your sync move. I think it triggers at the start of the battle. Got super duper effective 2 as well as super effective up next effect available at 3 out of 5. And then in terms of the sync move multipliers, you got Double Down 3 if the opponent is weak to ground type attacks or ground type. Got stronger sync move damage. Haymaker, the stronger the higher attack stat is, the stronger it is. Super effective up next. You know what that does. Meanwhile, Cynthia has no sync move multipliers. Maxi relies on Sun. So in terms of sync moves, I have no issue. SYGNA Suit Giovanni should technically be the strongest one out of the bunch. His sync move multipliers are very easy to activate. Very easy to activate. Maxi, the moment Sun goes down, the sync move damage just weakens a lot. Cynthia does not have any sync move multiplier. So, no questions. in terms of sync nuking, SYGNA Giovanni is the best. And, you know, BERTHA does more in terms of ground type sync moves now because, you know, tech sync pairs usually, most of the time, stronger, much stronger sync nuke damage. In terms of DPS though, if you think that SYGNA Giovanni is the most powerful one, you might be wrong, at least in this computation. Strongest one actually still belongs to SYGNA Serena, which does 3,690,570. If you want to see the calculations for yourself and how this is computed, link is in the description. Second highest is actually Maxi still with 3,672,702, but then you rely on Sun. Again, if the Sun goes down, much weaker. SYGNA Giovanni relies a bit on Sandstorm, but 3,493,222. But then again, I want to bring this up. You know, I do not want to just downplay Giovanni. Remember at 3 out of 5. Critical crit 9. So, if that activates, you are basically guaranteed that every single attack is going to be a critical hit. SYGNA Serena has Soften Up 1, which as long as you raise your critical hit rate, you're almost assured a critical hit almost all the time. But SYGNA Giovanni, with critical crit 9, basically every single attack is gonna be a critical hit. As long as the opponent does not have vigilance / critical shield. So that's one advantage of SYGNA Giovanni. So, you know, all in all, good sync pair with move gauge issues. But we're not yet done. Those are just the ground types. Now, you know, he also has steel type attacks and poison type attacks. So these are the steel type sync pairs, at least the strongest ones in terms of DPS. I ignored, or I did not put the highest sync nukers in the game here because SYGNA Giovanni just does not have a steel type sync move. So I put Gloria, I put Kimono Grimsley, I put Raihan, I put Scotty and Solgaleo, or main character in Solgaleo, because they actually have the highest DPS here, with SYGNA Giovanni having the highest, or rather, not the highest, sorry, the highest DPS. Why is this red? Give me a sec. Raihan having the highest at 5,019,165. Kimono Grimsley the second here, but I'm not sure how this is computed because Metal Burst can actually one-shot enemies, so probably that's Iron Head or something. And then the third one is SYGNA Giovanni with 4,168,531. In terms of sync nuking, Gloria, surprisingly, it's not that bad in the list. She's higher than Raihan, but that is, you know, if the opponent has already done a sync buff and you have other sync pairs to buff up Gloria, because Gloria cannot raise her own critical hit rate, although Gloria can give herself a critical hit next, but only twice. First time using her trainer move, second time after sync burst, after her sync move, and then you get to use her trainer move again to give yourself a critical hit next. Meanwhile, main character and Solgaleo does not exactly have sync move multipliers, so not so high in terms of sync nuking and not so high in terms of you know, the DPS thing. So steel moves, not too bad, and remember you also have a max steel spike which should deal a lot of damage. And now for the last in the list, poison type. Here are my comparisons. We do not exactly have a lot of poison types, so I'm including Gladion in the list because Gladion can technically change into any type after using his trainer move. So Gladion has Double Down 3 as a sync move multiplier, has HP advantage 3 and super duper effective 2 as attack move multipliers. Meanwhile, Plumeria, as you might know, is the one and only 6-star EXable full-on poison type. Alistair is a ghost type. But Alistair has quite a lot of multipliers, and again, SYGNA Giovanni has 2 poison jab multipliers, Furious, Brawn, and super duper effective 3, which are only for poison jab and does not, he does not exactly have mega kick multipliers separate or iron tail multipliers. Poison jab. The game probably is really intending him to be a poison type, then change their mind at the last moment. Who knows? And also because, Eggmon Nidoking is a poison type. So they made Nidoking ground type. Sus. Should have made him poison type. Anyway, here are the numbers. And now you can see over here, SYGNA Giovanni has the highest poison type DPS in the game right now. 2,701,236, beating every other sync pair in terms of poison type damage. Gladion is the lowest in this list here, but then you got other poison type sync pairs which should be lower than Gladion. And yeah, that's basically it with Plumeria 4,927,230, the only 6-star EX striker for poison type. Aside from Gladion. Plumeria is higher in terms of sync nuking than Gladion. She can hit everyone as well. Gladion can only hit one opponent. Keep that in mind. Alright, that's it. That is it for the numbers. I hope you found these numbers helpful. And again, hit the thumbs up if you appreciate the calculations for every one of us who did the numbers here. And, those are the comparisons. I said my thoughts. My thoughts, again, if you just fast forwarded, are that SYGNA Giovanni is a very good sync pair. Strong sync pair. You might know, if you lack a poison type, SYGNA Giovanni might help you out. But then, if you need a ground type, SYGNA Giovanni might help you out. If you need a steel type, SYGNA Giovanni might help you out. Your issue is your move gauge. Every single one of his moves are 4 move gauge attacks. You only have 1 trainer move and 1 max move to help you stall the battle a little bit. If you do not have any supports that can increase your speed or speed up the move gauge or give you a free move next, I strongly believe that you will have a hard time using SYGNA Giovanni. And my opinion about him has not changed at all. At all. He's a very strong attacker. But using him, you have to consider adding a sync pair that can raise your speed stat and probably defense stat. Or speed up your move gauge and increase your defenses, because his defenses aren't high as well. So, probably if you want to use him, you have to have 2 different supports. Skyla can probably deal with that. Ingo and Skyla. Ingo and the defensive support. Or some other thing. Move gauge is the biggest issue. You only have like move gauge refresh 3 on either Iron Tail, Poison Jab, or Mega Kick. 40% chance of bringing back that move gauge. Aside from that, you're left with nothing. And that is what I think about SYGNA Giovanni. Was I able to impart my frustrations about this sync pair to you guys? Let me know in the comment section if I have been able to successfully do that. Show my frustrations about this guy. But, should you scout for him? You probably should. I mean, he's strong. And if you do not have a ground type, all the ground types have been limited. Go for it. But you know what? Again, everything is just analysis. Everything is just theory. Everything is just me rambling on. as usual, scout for your faves and not go with the meta, because the meta is changing every single time there's an update. And although he's very good, he's very slow, but you might need him, you know, critical hit every single time. Very strong first attack, very strong sync move. First attack. In fact, if only his... I'm thinking how I would use him in Battle Villa. If I were to use him in Battle Villa, the way I would use him is wait for an MP refresh with his trainer move. Use the trainer move, use the max move, next battle, repeat the same thing. That would probably one-shot the center opponent all the time. But who knows? Who knows? Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. Again, he's the last one out of the bunch to come out, and there might be more on the way. And if you need a refresher on how many gems you still have to, you know, save up before they come out, you can check my how many gems can we get for the month of 2022. Link will also be in the description. But with that said, that is it for this video. I would like to give a huge shout out again to Absolutely for all the info that came out, you know, that I used in classifying, comparing, screaming about SYGNA, Giovanni, and Nidoking. And also a huge shout out to my awesome members. Thank you for all your continued support. Almost 18 months for both Shadowfill and Alcin. Aryan Sink, 16 months. Cinder the Cinderace Gamer, 15 months, as well as Roy. Luca at 14 months. Jeremy at 13 months. You guys are awesome. My goodness, more than 1 year. Sasri Umbreon, Marcella, Lance Nice, Ewiz, thank you as well. And there are 2 others who have been supporting me for more than 1 year. Thank you, Blaze. Thank you, John, 9019. Miss you guys. And also, if you see a super thanks button down below, try it out. Click. It's like a super chat, except I think it works for premieres or after the premiere happened. I haven't tested it out yet. I just activated it. Been waiting for more than a year to have it on my channel, and finally, it's out after waiting for so long. So if anyone wants to be the first one to touch the super thanks button, if you see it, check it out. Thank you to all my super chatters. You guys are awesome, crazy. Thank you. Thank you so much. With that said, I'm done. Wait for my Aaron, Bertha, Lucian, Scout or Skip videos coming soon. But in the meantime, this is Sol, also known as SPL Gum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt. Here this team's called Grunt. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Right.